Well, it works. Hi. Sorry about the delay. That was called Old People Technical Issues. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to do things technical. You know how you're, using your computer, you're doing your YouTube and stuff, and you think you got it, and then you want to show it to somebody, and then it all goes kaput. And you're like sitting there. Bill and I are down here just minutes ago going, but it just worked. I swear, it just worked. So, but it's working now, so we're here. Hi, Georgia. Hi, Roxanne. Thank you guys very much for hanging in there. I think there's a couple of other people that actually have been emailing me going, hey, where are you? And I'm like, I'm right here, honest I am. So I hope you liked our little slideshow. So for those of you that are members, if you want to have your quilt in the slideshow next time I do this, then send me an email and say, hey, can you put this quilt in the slideshow? I thought that was a really cool way to just start it so that I could get all my ducks in a row before I actually went on camera. I can see people chatting over here. Georgia was afraid she was going to miss it. You didn't miss it, Georgia. We're right here. So for members, that means that you today can do chatting, and you've sent me questions, and if you have questions during the episode, you can be messaging me any questions. For those of you that are not members, that's one of the privileges of being a member, that when I do this once a month live, it's for members to be able to send me questions. Sorry, adjusting my carpet down here so that my feet don't freeze to death. So we're ready to go. At some point, at least, I'm going to send everybody a picture of what my little area looks like. I have all my tripods and everything is right here. You'll notice I'm wearing earbuds. It's my new earring kind of thing going in. So we're ready to start. Now, what I want to show you today is a couple of different things, and then we're going to tackle questions that some of the members have sent. Members, if you have any questions while we're going, don't be afraid to ask. Just ask, okay? So this is one thing that I want to show you how to do. So this is a fabric bowl. This is one that I've completed, and I've completed a couple of other ones, but then I flattened them back out so that I could then, again, show you how it all works. So I'm going to kind of try to take you from the beginning of this process. So I think that you'll like that it's kind of a really nice holiday type of a gift thing. So it is really sturdy. Now I want you to realize after it has gotten solid, I guess. Oh, George got her pattern today. Good. It is really stiff. I mean, I can't bend or shape this at all. I mean, I can bend it, but it's going to hold its shape. Now, if I want it to lose its shape, I can turn it upside down, and I'll do this later on creating the shape. If I take my hot iron to it and just press, and get this whole thing hot, it turns totally flexible, shockingly flexible. But when it's cooled, it is really, really sturdy, which means you could use it, to put lots of different things in over the holidays. So what I did is I made a pattern, and I made a pattern for this poinsettia one and for the leaf one. So the leaf one is going to look like this, but it's not been shaped yet. I want to show you how I do the stitching on it. This is another one that I'd done a long time back. Honestly, couldn't figure out how. I had drawn up the leaves for this, but I couldn't find it. So I actually had drawn up the leaves for this one, for the poinsettia one, and for a new pansy one. And the pansy one is what we're going to work on. So let me move these out of the way for now. All right. And I'm going to get out the supplies that we're going to use. So it really all starts with this. This is Bozo, which is one of the companies that makes interfacings. They've got one called Heat Moldable. Now, when I first got this the very first time, I actually had intended to use it for using for costumes. Roxanne, it's available on the website. So if you were a Quilt Addict member, then you, of course, got all the patterns for free. If you're a beginning member or anybody else that wants to get the patterns that I made, it's on the website, which is OnPoint-TV. It's only $2.99, and that's honestly just to cover all the time and aggravation and hair pulling out I do in making of a pattern. So I hope that you'll appreciate that, okay? Hi, Sharon. So this is heat moldable. When you get it out of the package, this is what it looks like. Actually, it's much bigger than this. I've used quite a bit of it. But you'll see that it has these wicked folds in it. Well, those wicked folds can be removed very, very easily, again, just by taking your iron and putting it right on top of this. Obviously not on top of your green mat. That would not be a good move, but place it right on top of it and it will get completely flattened out. When you get it flattened out, then you want to take it and cut it down to the size that you want. So these are the pansy pieces I'm going to be working on. So I cut it into, in the pattern I cut it to a 12.5, but in that particular one, which comes 20 by 36 inches, I was only able to get two 12.5-inch squares. I now wish, because if math had been something I would have maybe done a little bit better in high school with, I would have remembered that 36 divided by 12 would get me three 12-inch squares. Well, of course, I cut mine 12.5, and so I only got two 12-inch squares and one 11-inch square. So if you want to make three of these, be smart and cut 12-inch squares instead of 12.5, okay? So I took it, and for this, I cut it into a 11-inch because that's all that I had left. On the back of it, you want to put a fabric that is really busy, something that you're not going to see all of the stitching on, okay? You're going to be doing some zigzagging and things like that, and you really, really, really don't want to see all of the little stitches going on. FYI, this is also what I do when I am machine quilting. I actually almost always will choose a small, busy print like this so that you can't see everything that I've quilted on the back side, all the little knots, you know, those little kinds of things. So I took that and I used some 505 basting spray. Now, every tool that I'm telling you about so far you can find on firesidequilt.com. So she's got 505. I know that she's got the Bosal heat moldable on order. If it's not there, give her a day or so, or send her an email through the website, and she will let you know. Bill wants me to do something. What do I want to do?
My screen is really small.
My screen is really small. What does that mean?
May I?
Has everybody got a really small screen? Let me know if what you are seeing is a really small screen. When I'm looking on my iPad, I admit I'm seeing a small screen. Bill is here clicking around trying to see if he can do something. Full screen projector view. Yeah, this is old people trying to do. Yeah, Jacqueline says that it is small. All right, you guys, we're working on it. We're working on it. All right. Does that look, wait a minute, we clicked on something. It usually takes a minute or so for us to see it before you see it. Do we see anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, we're going to try one more thing. It is small, but it's in the middle. All right, that's awesome. Okay. You know that the minute we start clicking around, something else is going to go bad. All right, babe, where did you see that? It was over here? It was, I thought it was in this part here. So please give us just a moment. And of course, you know, we did a little test of this. I don't know if any of you guys caught it. We did a little test that was like, I don't know, really late at night just to see if it would stream in the middle of our, hey, it's working! All right, everybody, applaud for Bill. Go, Bill! Go, Bill! All right, he rocks. Okay, so back to this. Thank you all for being so patient with me. Oops, now we're way down here. That's okay. I'll just make it come way down here. So this is 505. This is the product that I use to baste my quilt backings and my quilt tops to the batting. It is also what I sprayed on this to make it stick. I just want it to stick. I don't want to add anything with the fusibles like a steam-a-seam or anything like that. Then I'm taking my pieces and I'm going to stick those down also, but let me move this out of the way. Let's do it this way. All right. How about this? There we go. I don't have a lot of space. So I'm going to take, and I've ironed mine down. All right, does everybody see a big screen now? So let me know if you're seeing, can you send out instructions for the next live on how to get to the live? Honestly, Sharon, you should hit the notification button for the subscription on YouTube, and if you do that, you should then get an email letting you know every time I upload or go live. So that's what you want to do. Be sure that you've hit the notifications on YouTube. All right? Does that make sense, Sharon? Let me know. Go Bill! Yay! Thank you, Sharon. So I just pinned the template down, and I'm just going to cut it out with my rotary cutter. Doesn't need to be perfectly cut exactly to size. Honestly, because I'm doing an 11-inch instead of a 12-inch, yeah, probably I should make it a little bit smaller, but I'm just going to make it work. It'll work. It's a fabric bowl. It's not world peace. Don't I wish that quilt making had something to do with world peace, because honestly, the way us quilters are, we could make it happen. It would really, really happen. All right, so just cutting around these, and I did these with all the pieces, and so this is a pansy. Now, I have never made the pansy. I just got to thinking that if it was a flower fabric bowl, what flower would I want? I would want a pansy. So I went to my electric quilt program, and I found one of the applique, whoa, me and words, my applique motif that was a pansy, and figured out that I could make it work with this fabric bowl. All right, so now I've got my pieces all cut out. I also have my little diagram, which is on the pattern. You'll get that, showing you where to place all of your little pieces. Okay. Now I'm going to take back my design. I want to now spray down, and I'm going to do 2 of these purple ones. Uh-oh, Bill's coming back down. Does that mean something else isn't right?
Yeah.
What else is not right?
It's very laggy.
It's very laggy. All right, Bill's going to try and fix the laggy. All right. They're already giving you a big high five because you've got this figured out, man. All right. We're going to try and fix the laggy. Is the words laggy or the...
No, the video is.
How can the video be laggy? What's that mean? Of course, it wasn't laggy when we did our test. Never is. So make that smaller?
Yeah.
Okay. Hit OK. I think it'll be okay as long as I don't talk. Well, on screen. All right. So now I'm going to take and put down a piece of batting. Now, I just like to use a piece of batting just because it's scrap. I've got lots of scraps of it, and I don't want this adhesive going all over the place. Going to take my 505 basting spray. I'm going to spray it down on the back. Try not to get it too wet, which is easier said than done. All right, go back to my design. I like to use tweezers to get these picked up, otherwise your hands get really, really sticky getting it onto the batting. And I'm just going to place it in my design. Let's say, nope, let's do this guy over here. Okay. And pick up another one. Whoa. There. Now, I like using the 505 because it's not adding any additional bulk, because the truth of the matter is when it comes time to doing the stitching on this, your sewing machine is already going to be working hard to get through the heat moldable. It is really stiff, hard stuff. I put in my sewing machine, I put in my sewing machine a top stitch needle, a size 90 top stitch needle. You could also use possibly a denim needle if you happen to have one of those. Oh, I'm going to do my little circle while I'm here. If you happen to have a denim, that's one of those words. A denim needle, that would also work. The idea is that you want it to be a very, trying to look at my pattern here, a very strong, ooh, it's so sticky, a very strong, very sharp needle. It's really important that it be very, very sharp so that when you're stitching through this stabilizer, because it is so thick and stiff, that you actually get through without stressing your machine out too much. All right, that looks very pansy-like so far. Let's get that guy lined up a little bit better. Okay, and the center. So I'm going to use the same fabric that I'm using on the backing for the center. Mm-hmm. So now my piece is all stuck down. And you want to take and just do a line of stay stitching around the outside. before you do any cutting out. That will just help secure this and the backing in place. I'm not going to do that because I have my machine set up to do the embellishment stitching. But after you have it stitched down, then you want to cut it out with the sharpest pair of scissors you can get your hands on. Be sure that it's a really strong, sharp pair of scissors. If you've been thinking, boy, it's time to get my scissors sharpened because it's been struggling cutting through fabric, you definitely are going to want to have it done for that. So just cut it through. And these little guys, honestly, I wish I could think of something cool to do with it. I can't. They're just scrap. I'm just going to toss it to the side. When I get this done, I will post a picture of what the pansy bowl looks like when it's finished, because I think that I'll like to take some heavy threads, and I'm going to talk about how to stitch the heavy threads on, but I took some of my decorative threads, and I will want to stitch right down the centers of these, giving this flower just a little bit more pizzazz, and then also around the edge, which I'm going to show you, which reminds me how to tell you what I do with my decorative threads. So I've got a very large art bin tote of all sorts of decorative threads. I use them for lots of different things. I like to do crazy quilting, things like that. And one day I just decided that I didn't like that they were all sitting in just like wrapped around cardboard. I, for ages, had been going to antique stores and purchasing these wooden spools, and so I just decided to put all of my decorative threads around my wooden spools. So I should bring them all out here because they actually look really, really pretty. So this is how I store my decorative threads. So my thinking was one like this would really be really nice going up the centers of the pansy, like that, okay? So I'm going to set these to the side now. And we're going to switch cameras, so everybody, fingers crossed, everybody hold your breath as I try to switch the camera to the sewing machine camera. Okay, so it looks good to me. Does it look good to everybody else, or did it go small again? We'll see. Oh, it went small. Hey, Bill. Bill. All right, Bill's coming. Bill's going to help us make that picture big before I start sewing. While Bill is coming to fix that picture, I think that he thought that when he fixed just one of them, that it would fix all of them. Yeah, it's never that easy, people. Never that easy. So I am going to switch my stitch. On my stitch, I'm going to switch to a zigzag stitch. Hey, it looks good now. All right, and I'm going to make it be a quite large zigzag stitch. So on my machine, my FAF, that is maybe a 3.0. All right, I think that's good. Okay. Okay, and I've covered up the light so that it doesn't make it, What'd you do, Bill?
Hang on.
All right. Don't go away yet. No, I thought it was at 6:41.
No, I put it that one.
Okay, that one worked. Okay, don't touch. It works. Hit OK. All right. Hi, Pearl. Pearl is just showing us. Went small and the sound is muffled. If the sound is muffled, I honestly couldn't tell you what to do. Okay, Bill says it had to do with the lag. Is it still muffled? Bill is going to find out. All right. So we are to our sewing machine. I have it set up with my open toe applique foot. If you have an open toe applique foot, now is the time to use it. Now, on my one screen, it's looking like we have plenty of light, and on my little screen, it's not looking. Oh, all right. Georgia says the sound is better. It's not looking very bright, so I'm hoping you guys are seeing what I'm seeing on my TV and not what I'm seeing on my iPad, because in the iPad, hi Jeannie, it looks like the picture is dark, but on my TV it looks fine. So what I'm going to do is I want to stitch couch down some of these decorative threads on top of my leaf. So I'm going to take there we go. I'm going to take this decorative thread, all right, rolling it off the spool, and I'm just going to set it so that it's just kind of hanging down there, falling down on the spool. Now, if I had a fancy cording foot, I could take this heavy thread and put it through the cording foot. I don't have one, so I'm just going to use my open toe applique. So the idea, I want to be sure I lock it down, and I'm going to work with my needle in the down position. So now every time I stop, my presser foot will lift up. I'm going to have to move my tripod a little bit, or I'm going to hit this when I turn it. Okay. And then I'm going to just here's my edge. I want to just zigzag over the edge. You really shouldn't go too fast, partly because you're trying to position this cable as you go, and also because you want your machine to be able to get through. So I'm using my sharp top stitch needle, and that's going to be able to get through the thicknesses of this interfacing. Now as it comes to the edge, do you see this edge here? I want to cover the edge. The edge otherwise will be white. Now I'll bring out the poinsettia again and show you what I did on that one instead of stitching this down, so you've got options. So when I'm stitching it down, notice how I lay the cable to the right of the stabilizer. It's not on top of the stabilizer. The idea here is I'm trying to cover the edge of the stabilizer with this heavy cord. So the zigzag is going off kind of far out, but when it comes back in, it's grabbing it and then it's making it be so that it's just covering the edge. As I come to an end, I want to stop, lift my presser foot, turn, and then continue. So I'm just going to continue down here. There we go, catching it a little bit. I missed one or two stitches, I think. There we go. And as I get to this end here, I'm going to stop and do some back stitching. And then lift my presser foot and cut off my threads and my long cable, or my long heavy decorative thread. Okay? Now I see that I've got one kind of random loopy here. I would probably go back there and stitch that in just so that it's not so flopsy-bopsy. And then I'm going to come and start here again and then come all the way again to the edge and back. And then I want to take and do some in the middle. So right in the middle of your leaves, like I have here, add some of that decorative stitching. It just will give a better look to your piece. So when you look at it here, you see that I've got the decorative stitches going down the center of the leaves, and then I need to add still one more here. This one I did wonky. I should have come up here and gone around, but I did this one, and anyway, the idea is to have all the edges covered, as I think that you pretty much have figured out. Now, on the poinsettia one, I did the zigzagging around the edge, and I'm going to try and bring this up close to the camera. I used a zigzag stitch, and I used a heavy thread, and I thought that just the zigzag with the heavy thread would be able to cover that edge, but it did not. Roxanne, I used a 3.0 zigzag, 3.0, right? And then I painted the edge. I took a black acrylic paint with a paintbrush, and I just painted the edge. So that, I really thought, that was actually easier than adding the thick thread to it. I just think these are both options that you have. The acrylic thread, actually, I kind of, when you're doing the cutting out, you've done like just stay stitching around the edge, but when you do, like when you cover the painting, the zigzagging, it's going to really secure all that edge too. So you know what, Georgia, I tried to use a Sharpie. It did not work on the white. It did not cover it enough. I tried 3 or 4 different ones of the pens in my collection of permanent pens. No go. So then I was like, what else would work? Well, doggone it, I got paint. You've seen me use paint before. So I just used acrylic paint. I actually used a jacquard textile, but it really wouldn't matter. Any acrylic paint is going to work and cover those edges. Now you get to see what happens when you heat these babies up. So I'm going to go to my ironing board. Don't worry, I'm going to bring you with me just as soon as I get the supplies that I need. There we go. All right. So I'm going to take with me this stack of black, this is just fat quarters or leftover stack. There we go. All right, we're back. So it's got this leaf, and I'm going to turn the camera that had the sewing machine on it. I'm going to turn it, and hopefully when I flick on it, you're going to see what I want you to see. Yeah, all right. So this is I'm like, how do I show them pressing things? And, well, I've only got so many cameras. So I'm at my ironing station here. I've got my iron. Now I'm using an Oliso Pro. You can see that. This was a limited edition pink Oliso Pro, which I don't even think is available anymore in pink, but there is definitely the one available in yellow. Love this iron. 12-foot cord. Just so you know, all of these products I'm telling you about, nobody's paying me to tell you about these. The very best I can tell you is that you'll go to my friend Laura's website and buy them from her. I'm not getting any money from any of these guys, okay? But this is the Oliso Pro. Love this iron. I'm going to take it to the back of my completely stitched leaf, and I'm just going to heat this baby up. It's going to get hot, and when it gets hot, it gets really, really flexible. Okay? It's getting hot, it's getting hot, and as it gets flexible, I'm talking flopsy, super flopsy. All right? So I've heated it up. Now I'm going to take this stack of fabric to sit in the middle. Now I have thought about going upstairs and getting a bowl, like a real live bowl, to fashion this around. Yeah, that would mean going all the way upstairs. So now I'm going to hold it. Now this is not very exciting because I'm just going to hold it. I've got to hold it until it stiffens up. What's kind of cool is if you don't like the shape that it makes, you can change it. You can heat just one little petal and reshape the one little petal. You can do a lot of different ways to get this to be the shape that you want it to be. Now it's starting to cool. I do like to get like here. I mean, this stuff is so soft and flexible that I can get little guys. Let me watch this. I'll heat him back up again. I can take him and hop, and fold him right there. So when he is soft and flexible, you can hold him. The hardest part of this whole thing, seriously, by far, the hardest part is actually holding it long enough for it to cool. Patience level, don't got that. That was just something I did not get in the line when God was handing out gifts. He did not say, here's some patience for Nancy. Nope, didn't happen. So it's starting to get softer. I really want to show you guys it complete, so I'm going to be patient. I wish somebody had a question for me. Can I put a rubber band around it? I could put a rubber band around it if I had a really big rubber band. There we go. Or would the rubber band just hold it? I think that would work. You know what? Seriously, never thought about it. I've never had a rubber band big enough to give it a try. So that would work. All right, it's stiffening up, but you see how she's kind of coming back? And I'm just going to call it good because I can finish it up later because I want to show it to you how it works. So we're going to go back to our overhead camera. And there's the idea. Let's get these out of the way so you're not too distracted by all the other things. All right? So now she is pretty stiffened up. I could do her more stiffer if I wanted to. I could take and I could like heat up this part and I can curl it. You can do whatever you want to it because when it gets hard, it gets really, really hard. It will get really stiff. And it takes a while because you can see I can still kind of move it a little bit, but it will get stiffer. That's how you make fabric molds. Now, my plan is to get both of these leaves done and the pansy done probably tomorrow afternoon, and then I will show you what those look like when they're back. But that's the idea. So this is, wow, my hair, boy, it's like I've been wrestling with something back here. Anyway, so that's what they're going to look like. So I hope you like that. Just something for you to maybe do some little gifts for the holidays, something that you can use on your holiday table if you are a holiday table maker. I'm not much of a holiday table maker, but, you know, I know a lot of quilters are. That's why you guys all make things like table runners. I like table runners because they're small and then I can show you techniques. My dining room table has never been clean enough off to show you what a table runner would look like it, but maybe someday. All right. So another thing I want to talk to you about before I get to the two questions that I was given is block, lock, ruler. So this is a block lock ruler, and I'm going to show it to you from the overhead camera. You what? It's small screen again?
Yeah.
On the laptop? Oh, Bill says the small screen. You know what? I kind of like that. It makes me not look too old, right? So there you go. So Bill wants to fix it, though. So we're going to go back to the laptop. So bear with us. Bill almost killed himself, and, you know, if we ever go down, somebody please call 911. I think Athena's watching. I'm sure she would watch out for us. All right, Bill's going to fix it so that when we're on the front screen, you know, common sense would say that we should write these things down. Nope, it was on. You can't do it with the front one?
Oh, wait a minute.
Transformers. Yeah, there, let's go back up a second.
I know, it just disappeared.
Transform, fit to screen. There we go.
Yep.
All right, when it goes fit to screen, I got to tell you, I look like I'm 2 inches away from myself. I hope you guys don't see, and Georgia says hi. Everybody says hi, Bill. All right, he's going to make that the default device. Okay. Nope, that's not what he wants. All right, he's going to fix it later to make it permanent. We'll try this 10 more times.
Another issue.
What do we have another issue?
No.
Oh, he says it's lagging.
Hang in there.
You guys, you're the best. Old people working so hard.
Yeah.
I think it was the buffing. Wasn't it the buffing? Oh, no, it's this one here. All right, he hopes this is going to help with the lag, too. Okay, go, Bill. Yay, Bill. Love him so much. Okay, so I'm going to show you the block lock ruler. So we're going back to the overhead. So this is a block lock ruler. Now, they came out, they're a company in Colorado. The man actually, technically, I think is from New Zealand or one of those really cool places down there. And he lives in Colorado. Don't know why he decided to make these, but he did. And this was the first one they came out with. They've got a ton of different variations. The other one I wanted to show you, but I think that I left it at, hi Pinky, that I left it at the studio at Gina's house, is the Flying Geese. But I'll show you how to use both of these when it comes time that we are putting out the Sunset Over Dublin Quilt, which is the sampler. So block lock is the name. This is how they work. They are for trimming down half square triangles. Now I in particular, oops, there's a thread. I in particular love this one because it is 6 inches, so with 6.5 inches, which means you can trim down half square triangles on any of these sizes. So you don't want to just buy like the small 2.5 inch one because they actually make one. No, you want to buy at least a 6 inch because then you can trim down any of these different sizes, right? So when you're working it, you want to work, I like to, and I know some people like to work with it first started up, I like to work with it facing down. So it's upside down to me. The seam on my half square triangle is actually pointing up, so it's pressed up. My block lock ruler is upside down. And do you see that little groove in there? There's a little groove. So that when I'm using this, it sets right over the seam. Now, if you were using a regular ruler, I'm just going to show you an example. If you're using a regular ruler, it does that rocking back forth a little bit, and you've got to really hold on tight. With the block lock ruler, that little groove cuddles that seam. So it actually, the ruler doesn't rock at all. You can take it now and hold it down with your fingers, trim the right-hand side and the left-hand side. All right? After you get those done, keep the pressure on the ruler. So I like to keep my finger right here, twist it around, slide it down to the size that you want. I'm just going to cut it at 3.5 just because I can. I actually started with a 4-inch square just for the sake of example. And ta-da! I now have a perfect half square ruler. This thing is the bomb. Yes, Bill is the bomb too, and then this cutter. So those of you watching that are not members might be wondering why you're not able to leave comments. This is a live video that anybody can watch, but only members can leave comments. I will continue to do other lives, but once a month I will do one that's covering questions by the members. So if you want to be able to leave messages and chats and ask questions, then you need to become a member. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. So I did that again. I want you to see that. So I trim it first. Whoops, let me bring it a little bit more to the center. Trim it first. Put pressure on the ruler. Spin the ruler. Slide the ruler down. Now I'm wondering how many of you that are members anyway have ever even heard of the block lock ruler. I'm trimming this one down to 3 inches just because this is an awesome, cool ruler. Keep in mind, I'm not really big into gadgets. I don't know. I don't think that there should be a gadget for everything. Maybe those of you that are in your kitchens like a gadget for everything, but in my world, my kitchen is just there because it holds a refrigerator and a microwave, but I'm not a gadget girl. When it comes to quilting, I don't really like gadgets. When they showed me this at first, I was just gobstopped. I was like, that is like really, really cool, and it is really cool.